Hey, hi, hello. Uh, Good day. Hope you had a good weekend and already making plans for the week ahead. So, since I already posted two videos over the weekend, one regarding the marriage of Indira Gandhi, and of course, one more regarding childbirth of Indira Gandhi. I thought another interesting video would be to analyze the assassination of Indira Gandhi that happened, right? So obviously, while we will not get into the details of how exactly it happened because all of it is already available on the internet, and trust me, I personally feel that you should not really attempt to be super specific about how it will happen and stuff, but then definitely get some guiding principles around the fact that this particular period is going to be tough and one needs to be cautioned or be careful, and maybe just pray and then hope that you whatever take the necessary corrective actions or do whatever remedial measures are prescribed and stuff. So with that, so Indira Gandhi was assassinated, and again, it's just a minute. Okay, just give me a minute. I think I'll have to, snapshot this. Otherwise, it will not allow me to whiteboard. So just bear with me. Cool. Okay. So yeah. So Indira Gandhi was assassinated on the 30th of October 1984. This is what the book had mentioned. So this was the date when Indira Gandhi was assassinated. Okay. So the nearest solar return chart will be the previous year, and which is where you see that the solar return chart is for 20th November 1983, whereas her birth is 19th November 1970. Right? So this solar return chart is for the year 1983, the previous birthday, because she died before her next birthday, and that is the logic, right? So now let's look at the primary directions that were active around this time. Okay, and I was just going through the explanation given in the Gemini astrology book that I was reading, and honestly, of course, with due respect to that astrologer, I, I it made it look so difficult, and I was like, boss, how do I end up predicting such events, right? Because the kind of explanation that he had given was not so easy to comprehend, and whereas I'm always in search of a very scientific method where you don't have like some three or four houses related to the same event or signification and stuff. As far as possible, I want to limit it, and originally that's how the Greeks and the Persians and the Arabs used to do it, right? So you want to make it as scientific and as logical as possible, and that's the real essence of astrology. It's a science. Of course, the art lies in being able to spot patterns, combinations, like you will see in this video as well. So with that, let me proceed. So if you look at the primary directions that were active around that time, we were talking about 1984 October. So if you really see, one important thing to note is the moon is conversely directed to the body of sun, or the body of sun is directed to moon. So and the classics definitely don't have a very good opinion about this particular direction. So basically the body of sun falls in the directed moon, right? So okay, the body of sun falls in the directed moon. Now remember this, okay? The body of sun falls in the directed moon, and I'll come to it and why this is important. I'll let you know. But I was also just looking at the direction of the ascendant, and I see ascendant is directed to the terms of Venus in Virgo. So ascendant is directed to the terms of sorry, the ascendant is directed to the terms of sorry, Mars in Virgo. So ascendant is directed to the terms of Mars in Virgo. And if I go back to the chart, so obviously the ascendant is in a malefic planet's term, right? So normally Mars has signification with injury, violence, bloodshed. So typically the terms in which the ascendant is directed to gives an idea about the broader themes. So I mean, just for academic purpose, ascendant was directed to the terms of Mars. But then if you look at the directions in and around that time, just take a look here. Okay. Okay, around 1978, related to while the ascendant was still in the terms of Mars, a sextile of Saturn was directed to the ascendant. A sextile of Saturn was directed to the ascendant. Sextile of Saturn was directed to the ascendant. So Saturn becomes a promiser. Okay, Saturn is definitely one of the chronocraters. Now, just look at it. This is a nocturnal chart. Hence, Saturn is the malefic that is contrary to the sect. Okay, you can read about sect, the concept of sect. This is a nocturnal chart, and Saturn is contrary to the sect. Okay, and the sextile of Saturn falls in the directed or falls in the directed ascendant. Uh, but just note, okay, Saturn is the eighth lord. Saturn is the eighth lord, and Saturn is at the cusp of the ascendant. Eighth lord in the first house, almost cusp of the ascendant. If you draw a whole sign chart, Saturn will be very much inside the first house. And remember, it's quite close, degree wise to the ascendant cusp. And also, both of them is in the same sign. It is Cancer. So the Saturn as a promiser is the eighth lord and is conjunct the ascendant. So it is carrying the eighth house currents already to the ascendant. And also Saturn is casting a sextile on the directed ascendant. But again, if you still consider sextile to be not that bad, but Saturn still is a malefic and of the sect or contrary to the sect. Okay, let's keep this. So there is some eighth house related vibrations already seen, right? And the fact that ascendant is in the terms of Mars. Now, look at this, right? Why Saturn again becomes an important chronocrater is because around 1983. So if you do, 1983 minus 1917, right? She had already completed 66 years, right? And she was running her 67th year. So if I subtract it from the nearest multiple of 12, which is 67 minus 60, it is 7. So basically the perfected ascendant is now the 7th sign from the natal ascendant. So the 7th sign from the natal ascendant is again Capricorn, and hence the perfected ascendant is 27 degrees of Capricorn, and the perfected ascendant lord is Saturn. So Saturn becomes the lord of the year as well. So Saturn becomes lord of the year, and this is again activating the natal configuration where Saturn is the eighth lord, which is conjunct the ascendant, right? So apart from that, ascendant is also directed to the the ascendant is directed to a sextile of Saturn. So Saturn again is a promiser. Apart from that, Saturn is also the lord of the year that year. So it becomes very potent in being able to fructify some of the natal configurations, right? Now again, going back to the primary directions, just take a look at this, right? Let me see if I can underline it. I think I can. Yeah. Okay, take a look at this. You have sun, body of sun directed to the moon, body of sun directed to the moon, right? Now, my guru always used to say that you should also take a look at the aspects to the moon in the solar return chart. Now, if you see, like I said, the body of sun is directed to the the body of sun is falling in the directed moon in the solar return chart. Okay, if you see, moon casts an opposition aspect on the sun, right? Because moon is in Taurus and sun is in Scorpio, opposite. So moon, sorry, so sun casts a strong opposition. So sun opposes the moon, right? Right. Now I was just wondering, whether sun has any connection with the eighth house. See, if you see, if the perfected ascendant is now Capricorn, see what the perfected eighth lord is. So this is the perfected ascendant, new ascendant, perfected second house, perfected third, perfected fourth, perfected fifth, perfected sixth, perfected seventh, perfected eighth sign is Leo. So Sun is the perfected eighth lord. So Sun is the eighth lord of the perfected chart, and Sun casting an opposition on the Moon. And what is Moon? Moon is also the ascendant lord, mind you. And to tip the scales further, Moon also happens to be the ascendant lord in the solar return chart, the guardian. So basically, you have the perfected eighth lord Sun casting an opposition on the moon, which is the natal ascendant lord, and also the solar return ascendant lord. Again, a lot of eighth house vibrations, right? And if you see moon is also squaring the cusp of the eighth house of the revolution chart. It's a separating square, right? Because it's like 0 degrees and 5 degrees. So it is still separating from the cusp of the eighth house square aspect. So again, your lagna lord or your ascendant lord is also having a square aspect with a separating square aspect with the uh, cusp of the eighth house of the revolution chart, right? So, I mean, these are like enough pointers where I would say, especially Saturn uh, conjunct the ascendant, which is getting activated by directions from a promiser standpoint. Also, Saturn getting activated as the Lord of the Year, and also the fact that the Moon is coming under the influence of the eighth house matters, right? Uh, because the sun is casting a very close degree opposition, and sun also happens to be the eighth lord of the perfected chart. So I feel these are some of the points which are quite strong indicators of an unfortunate event that could take place in the and that could have taken place during this particular year. So, I mean, my point is, when we say death, there has to be a lot of eighth house related connections. I was also hoping some square or opposition from Mars, but the only thing that I could observe is ascendant is in the terms of Mars. But then I hope you liked my style of analysis and the supporting points, which pretty much sort of align towards the possibility of a nasty event happening. So with that, I would like to end this video. I hope you liked it, and continue to have a nice week ahead. Thank you.